This is Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Trackside at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco. And we got a game coming your way, just underway. We are in the first period of play between the Bombers and the Pioneers. The score here as we pick up the action, the Bombers 2 and the Pioneers 1. We have 6 minutes and 8 seconds yet to go here in the first period of play. Jerry, looks like it's going to be a great one between the Pioneers here and the Bombers.
It is, and it's kind of a monumental game because this is the first time on the network that the fans will have seen Buddy Atkinson Sr. in his new role as infield coach for the Pioneers. He's already made some important changes. He is holding Joan Weston out and working the other girls, and he figures he's going to last longer through the games.
I was looking for Buddy out there, and I didn't recognize him in the uniform that he's wearing on the track, on the infield. On the jam, Debbie Cho is moving with their number 51 for the Pioneers. On the play is Terry Lewis. Each team of the jam are trying to move in there. Debbie Cho being clouded now by Terry Lewis. They've caught the pack. There's Sherry Eric to block 53. But she's not eating right now. Debbie Cho slammed in the rail by Terry Lewis, 51 of the Pioneers. Back to block with the Bombers, 34, Dolores Tucker. Carol Myers back in action with the Bombers. Been out for several weeks. Sherry Eric blocking hard back there. This gal's come a long ways in the last several weeks, few months. Down they go in a heap. That was Francine Cochou with that block on Dolores Tucker, and the point was scored by Terry Lewis for the Pioneers to tie things up here at 2 points apiece. It's almost strange to see Sherry Eric wearing that pivot helmet out there.
Well, she came along so well this season, Walt. Big, strong girl. Reminds many people of the way Joan Weston skates. And Joan coming back on that track now. She's taking the pivot helmet. Sherry going off. Buddy's talking to her. This is going to be the start of a kind of a long learning series, I think, for some of these girls, because Buddy's indicated after each play he's going to tell them what they do, right and wrong. And he's got quite a girl squad there, though. Francine Cochou and Candy Dones and Sherry Eric, Joan Weston, and Joan just comes on now, looks real fresh.
Joni Weston really controlling things as she takes out Rosetta Saunders at the head of the pack, but on the jam for the Pioneers. They have two girls moving there. Candy Jones, number 57 on the play, and then number 50, Rita Williams. So they got two good jammers moving on the play. And because of Joan Weston's blocking at the head of the pack, the Bombers have nobody out on this jam. Dolores Tucker back to the block for the Bombers, number 34. She's got a job to do. Block on Jones, a block on Williams. Tucker, 34, doing it out there. Not a big gal, but she can do it all, as they say in the trade. Jones almost gets by. Tucker cuts Weston with the block in there. That's 2 points each jammer going by. Tucker blocking by Joni Weston, in trouble now. Saunders back to the block, number 36, in the pack. A girl taken out of there by Joni Weston. That's 2 more points in there. Carol Meyer taken out of there. Still battling for more. They have at least 4 already. The Pioneers trying for more. Kathy Pulliam getting up there, but I don't think she scored. I think it's 6 points in there for the Pioneers. It is. They lead now 8-2. And Saunders draws a warning from Bill Morrissey. He's almost laughing at him. She believes he's so wrong in his call. I didn't see it. I have no judgment on it. But the score is 8-2, a big play by the Pioneers.
Very responsive crowd here today, Walt. A lot of families. They really enjoy the Bombers. Of course, the Pioneers are used to skating before crowds that aren't terribly friendly. They've been on the road almost all summer, and I'm sure they're going to look forward to opening at home again, especially with their new look team.
Here we go again on the jam. Moving for the Bombers in the play, Linda Antonio, but in front of her, it's little Francine Cochou. Debbie Cho moving out to help out Antonio. Every time you look up, these Pioneers are a talented skater out on the jam. They are loaded. There's Buddy Atkinson here waving his towel, encouraging her to move, but she moves for a point. As blocking in the play, Joni Weston, some help in there that time from Terry Lewis. Paved the way for that point in there for the Pioneers. They now lead the Bombers 9-2 with 2:10 to go here in the first period of play.
Well, we get a lot of new viewers every week, and I know that a lot of them would like to understand this game better. If you'd like to get a free copy of the rules, or put your name on the mailing list and receive advance information about upcoming games in your areas, write to rules or mailing list or both, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604, and please make our job a little easier so we can sort out where you're writing from. Put the name, address, city, zip code number, and the station on which you watch these telecasts.
So here we go with another jam, and the Bombers finally get 2 girls out on the jam. The rear of the pack, the Pioneer jammers are knocked down. able to get out of there. The Bombers are moving. The entire Pioneer pack that left at the gate that time, but they have big Joni Weston back there to guard that gate. 59, Joni Weston, and a block there on Gandy, and a block on Tucker. They have Golden Girl. Many say the greatest skater ever to lace him up on the bank track. Saunders out of the penalty box is back there to help charge now. Saunders, 36, gets nice. Atkinson Sr. running around the infield, talking to Joni, talking to his team. Boy, he really works out there. Jump block in there, 2 points. They're trying for more. With Saunders again, 2 more each. That's a total of 6. Listen to the crowd roar. Saunders out of the penalty box just in time to help out the Bomber Jammers that time where they needed help because Joni Weston was doing the job back there. 6 points on the play for the Bombers, and they have 8 on the scoreboard. Now the Pioneers have 9. We have 25 seconds to go in the first period of play.
Crowd a little smaller than usual today, Walt, but they're really screaming loud.
I don't know, they're packed in here pretty good. Here we go, Koshu, but time is against her. 3, 2, 1, and that is it, and that is the end of the first period of play with the score. The Bay Area Bombers 8 and the Pioneers 9. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. The second period getting underway. The men on the track, and this game so important. And such rivalry between these two clubs. And Charlie O'Connell is starting the second period. Ordinarily, he sets out maybe the second period or most of it. But he is out there right off the bat in the second period. On the jam, Bob Dansell, and he's clobbered by John Rice. Rice clobbers him again, but Dansell stays on his skates. And there, not for long, I say it, and down he goes. And away goes John Rice for the Pioneers. At the rear of the pack, it's Pete Boyd and Ronnie Robinson blocking out there. Block now can pave the way for a point for the Pioneers. The headlock in there by Robinson on Pete Boyd. Slams him into the rail. No official looking. He gets away with it, so a point is scored. 2 points are scored. And Buddy Atkinson Sr. is holding up 1 point. He was with me, and one of the officials held up 2 points. So Buddy missed the calling that time. So did I. It's 11-8 the score. 2 points for the Pioneers.
You know, Walt, you were remarking something between the periods. That Pioneer team out there has to be the most loaded with talent. And as a sign of the respect for that, Charlie O'Connell, who normally holds out 2 to 3 to 4 jams, is not doing that. He came right on the track at the start of the period along with Pete Boyd, figuring if they're going to control this series and this game, they're going to have to throw their strength in right away.
Here we go, whipped out of the pack for the Bombers, Alvin Mallory, 31. Whipped out in pursuit is number 51, Bill Hill for the Pioneers. Each team is man, and the rear of the pack, Robinson with a foot into the back of Boyd, and he hammers him on the head, and he hits him with an elbow block. Boyd coming back after Robinson now. Moves in with a block on Robinson. Grabs him with a headlock and throws a left hook in there. He draws the penalty. No point for the Bombers, and that's the way it goes. The man that finishes the fight is the one that draws the penalty, and that's happened to Pete Boyd. And now Bob Hine kicks him over there. And Boyd is down, but Bob Hine was caught by referees. Bob Hine does draw a penalty. Buddy Atkinson Sr. in there between Mallory and Robinson, and in between them on the track is Pete Boyd, who was put there with that kick from Hine. Atkinson trying to calm things down, talking to Charlie O'Connell. 11-8 the score remains.
You really get a feeling when these two teams get together. These certainly are two of the class teams in the league. They both seem to skate a little better against each other than they do against other teams. And the Pioneers, especially with Buddy Atkinson, you get the feeling that they're a lot more happy in their skating out there.
Here is Tony Roman on the jam. Tony Roman is off and moving. In pursuit is number 56, Gary Lorenz. Gary Lorenz. Lorenz moving on Tony Roman on the play. In the back, we have Ronnie Robinson the block. Larry Smith is out there. John Rice. Roman blocked out by Robinson. Gil Orozco with a smashing hip block, and Gary Lorenz slammed him into the rail. Roman left on the rail by Robinson. Lorenz hit again by Orozco. Orozco again slams him over the rail with a block, and out on the floor he goes. Robinson slowing down Tony Roman. Ronnie Robinson. Orozco goes back and decks Robinson. Then he decks Lorenz. Orozco doing a job out there. Roman picked up one, possibly two. And look at Robinson decks Orozco with his helmet, and O'Connell is after Robinson. Clubs like this get together. They remember everything that happened in the past. 1 point Bombers, scores 11-9. Let's see if anybody heads for the penalty box. Little Roscoe's on the infield. Orozco must have drawn a penalty for his last block. It must have been illegal.
I think they said he turned around on Lorenz, so they sent him to the penalty box. Officials want to keep this game under control.
Robinson's in the penalty box for his swinging of the helmet at Orozco and hitting him. On the jam, Jim Cook moving here. Bombers taking all lugs out here, you might say, in this game. Haven't seen Jim Cook jam in a long time, but O'Connell shooting the works. The only jammer out there is Jim Cook of the Bombers. Charlie O'Connell controlling the head of the pack with help from Alvin Mallory. Bob Hine is wearing the pivot helmet for the Pioneers, number 57. Hine 57. Sounds like a slogan. Atkinson Sr. on the track talking to Bob Hine, running alongside. Jim Cook, Hine with a block. Now the Bombers need a blocker back there, and they can't get anybody back there. Larry Smith is making sure of that, along with Bill Hill, Nick Scopus. Hine blocking on Jim Cook. Here comes Orozco out of the penalty box, moving on Hine, slams him over the rail. Robinson out of the penalty box. I don't know where Hine came from. Hine was Orozco, that's right. Orozco came out of the penalty box, and Robinson came out for the Pioneers, and they're squaring off again. And O'Connell and Atkinson Sr. O'Connell shoves him away. Boy, this is going to be rough before it gets finished. Atkinson pulls Bob Hine out of there. I haven't seen the signal for any points yet. Roscoe got out of the penalty box, caught up, and slammed the block into Rock. Officials say no points. I don't understand it. They're saying that Orozco did not rejoin the pack, but I've seen that play many times and never seen it called. Never seen it called.
If you would like to have a game scheduled in your area for either non-political or non-profit reasons, we like to have games by local charities or schools. You have a gym at a high school or college, an arena that seats more than 2,500 people. Write to bookings, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California 94604. We'll try and arrange a game in your city, and boy, we got one going here.
Bob Dansell on the jab, moving on John Rice. At the rear of the pack, Bob Hine working over Gil Orozco, battering him. Dansell dumps Rice and cuts off the jam to protect Gil Orozco, who is way behind the pack. And O'Connell falls right over John Rice hard, sort of, so to speak. This is going to get rough. That play, the last one, where they called refused to allow a point for Orozco's blocking because he did not rejoin the pack. I'd say I very seldom see that call. I agree with it, but many times I've seen when they got away with it, and I thought it was wrong. Any skater coming out should rejoin the pack before he can do any damage, and yet I've seen many times it come out. Hit somebody right off the bat without rejoining the pack. Score still 11-9. The Pioneers lead. 3.5 minutes to go in the game. Talking about this crowd, Jerry, I just sort of looking over the house, and up there in about the 10th row over there in the middle, I thought I saw a guy who looked like Chet Kopic to me.
Yeah, Chet, though, there is a rule limitation. No one over 6'6" can come in the buildings here in San Francisco because they have very low roofs. And Chet, unfortunately, as you know, is 6'7", and he jumps up and down a lot. It gets the people behind him all upset.
Here we go. Jim Cook has Bob Hine on the jam. Tony Roman coming on the track. Replace Mallory, who's having a little skate trouble adjustment. Cook put down by Bob Hine, and Bob Hine is off and moving. 2:50 to go here in the second period of play. This is the kind of game that could go all night. You get so much enjoyment out of seeing two fast clubs in action. Bob Hine up there. He's got Robinson the block. He's grabbing and holding in there, and he's got a bundle of points if it's all legal. And it is, and it's 4 points for the Pioneers. Makes the score 15-9. The Pioneers lead.
You know, here it is, only the second period of the first half. And you know we're going to have quite a game. You're going to see the whole game here on this station. So first and second half, and it's really hard to believe, Walt, that we're only in the first half. This is the second period of the first half, and these teams look like they're going for the World Championship out there.
Packers 4 and the play gets underway again. Pete Boyd up in front. Trying to work out of there is Tony Roman. He's going to be out of there because he's going to be put down by Pete Boyd. He is at Bob Hine in pursuit, number 57. The Oswego, Oregon Flash. Bob Hine out and moving. Tony Roman with a block on Hine, and down he goes. He bounces up again, but Roman has the lead now. He's got Gillarosco in front of him to block. Tony Roman behind Gillarosco, the moving, and Ronnie Robinson, number 58, big star of the Pioneers in the leg blocker there. He threw the leg on Orozco, and underneath it went Roman for a point. He's down and he cut it off. The referee says they didn't see it. But so far he's convinced Bob Hine, who is so down on his jam. 15-12 is now the score. The Pioneers lead. 55 seconds to go here in the second period of play.
Just a few more weeks of the season for the fans in the San Francisco Bay Area. And of course the Pioneers looking to get back on. They've got a big interleague series coming up against the Thunderbirds. Buddy Atkinson Sr. said that he's going to be ready for that Los Angeles team, and he looks like he's got this team hyped way up, Walt.
They're really moving tonight, and Jim Cook is out on the jam again for the Bombers. They say the Bombers are pulling out all stops against this club. 51 by Bill Hill right behind Jim Cook. Alongside he goes. There's his block on Cook. Cook retains his balance and cuts right back after Bill Hill. They're hitting in that back. Robinson in there with a block on Dansell a moment ago. Cook grabs the lead again on Bill Hill. He's moving on Ronnie Robinson, 58. Ronnie puts a block on. There goes the man. There goes the helmet. Bill Hill has the lead in the jam. Moving on Pete Boyd is Robinson. Pete Boyd gets away, puts a block on Bill Hill. Slams him again. Robinson decks Bill Hill. The jamming time had run out. The period had ended. That was the reason it ended there. My clock still had 12 seconds to go. That's the end of the second period of play with the score. The Bay Area Bombers 12 and the Pioneers 15. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco. The Bombers and Pioneers. And it's 15-12. The Pioneers on top in the red and blue uniform. The Bombers in the orange and deep brown. Here we go with the girls on the track. Third period getting underway. Some stations see the last half immediately. Some stations see the last half again next week. But you'll see it all. Candy Jones in the jam and Althea Gandy in pursuit. Number 30 moving here for the Bombers. Where she ever got number 30, I don't know. I know why. 37, the number she's been wearing, belongs to Carol Meyer, and Meyer's back in action with the Bombers. So Althea Gandy now wearing number 30. She's being hammered there. Grabbing the lead, Candy Jones. It's Buddy Atkinson Sr. coaching in the infield, number 59. Really puts his heart into a game. He works harder in the infield, I think, sometimes than the skaters do on the track. Jones hammered by Rosetta Saunders, 36 of the Bombers. Saunders with another block. Gandy shoves her into the block. Gandy shoves her into the next block, and there it is. They're battering Candy Jones, and down she goes. Saunders blocked in there by Saunders. Weston blocked by Saunders, and a point by Gandy. 1 point Bombers on the play. Rosetta Saunders doing a good job wearing that pivot helmet for the Bombers. 15-13 is now the score. The Pioneers still on top.
Bombers still operating at a disadvantage. Margie Laszlo still out of the lineup, so they really don't have a big girl out there. Rosetta Saunders has joined this team. Carol Meyer just coming back in action. Dolores Tucker, a lot of good small skaters. And also Debbie Cho now recovering from that nose injury, but she's still not really back at full strength. And
I'll tell you one thing.
Go ahead, Walt.
This Buddy Atkinson Sr., a lot of people do not agree with his style on the infield. He's created a few an enemies list, I'd say. And yet, you've got to say this. There he is. He puts his heart and soul into his work, and he really believes in his skaters. He does everything he can for them. That was him talking to Candy Jones. Advice, encouragement, whatever they need, Buddy is there to give it to them. On the jam, Debbie Cho for the Bombers. Number 53, Sherry Eric for the Pioneers. Debbie Cho with the inside blocking position. Sherry Eric cuts to the inside. They're both closing on the pack. Saunders with the block on Sherry Eric. Joni Weston doing the job for the Pioneers. Sherry Eric in scoring position, being blocked out by Saunders. Weston trying to pull her around. Here comes Debbie Cho again. Debbie Cho moving. She's by. It's a point apiece there. Sherry Eric was off balance, could not cut off the jam. And so Debbie Cho moved in for a point, passing Joni Weston. A little upset that the jam wasn't cut off. So it's a point apiece, and the score is 16-50 now. The Pioneers lead the Bombers.
You really don't get any sense in this game or feel, Walt, that one team is dominating the other. Both very, very evenly matched team. But this Pioneer team, you look down the lineup, and you wonder how can they lose a game. And I'm sure that's what the Pioneer management was thinking when they said this team has a talent. They have to be the world champions, and Buddy Atkinson Sr. is going to lead us there.
Here we go, the next jam. 7:33 to go in the third period of play in the first half. On the inside, Gandy is out of there. Althea Gandy, Rita Williams in pursuit, number 54, the Pioneers. Each team with the jammer out of the play. At the front of the pack, Saunders and Weston. Over the rail. Williams got away from the block. Now, a senior, there he is on the track, telling his team, slow that pack down now. You've got the only jammer out. Officials having a conference about a bomber at the other end, which has no bearing in play right now unless they call a penalty or a point. It went over the rail. Gandy was hurt. She was replaced, which you can do with an injured skater. I think one of the officials thought the other skater was just standing down there stalling. Saunders doing the job on Rita Williams. Gandy is still on the floor outside. Atkins Sr. almost giving a whip to Rita Williams. Saunders in the block on her. Weston will block on Saunders. He's passed for the point. Another block in there, another point in there. Carol Meyer blocked out by Joni Weston. Down she goes, but she scored at least 2. 3, they say. 3 Pioneer points on the play. Thea Gandy finally being helped onto the track by Tony Roman and Alvin Mallory. 19-15 is the score. There's Joni Weston.
I think this really shows you this girl's value to the team, Joan Weston. She controls that pack, and when she is skating well, no one is going to take it away from her. Sometimes the thing to do is to try and get her out of the pack, get her to chase on a jam or get her out in a jam, and then I would say the Pioneer team is just not going to be as strong. But if Joan will stay in that pack, lead her jammers out, help them in at the rear, I don't think there's a better women's field than this Pioneer team.
Here we go. Double whip coming up to Debbie Cho. Going out with her is Sherry Eric on the inside. So we have 4 jammers out on this play. 4 jammers moving on the play. Now 3. Debbie Cho is put down by Sherry Eric. Pulliam with a block on Eric. Kathy Pulliam doing the job. Now she's blocked in there by Francine Cochou, who does the job. But Cochou slips and goes down too. Cochou gets up, moves away, grabs a pretty good lead on the jam. Francine Cochou, number 52, moving here for the Pioneers. She's coming up on the pack. She's got blocking. She's got blocking. She's got a point. Eric doing the blocking on Debbie Cho. So Sherry Eric so far in this first half has had a field day on Debbie Cho and the Bombers. 20-15 is now the score. Eric still blocking after the play had ended.
Many people are writing all the times, how can we get into roller derby? How can we learn this game? If you want information on how to become a roller derby skater and to enter a training school, write Roller Derby Training Centers, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California 94604, and we will send you information on how to get into this exciting career.
Here we go, 4:10 to go in this period. Breaking on the jam, Candy Jones with her. Rita Williams out there. Candy giving whip to Dolores Tucker. Tucker going out after Williams and Candy Jones. Double block set up. She outskates him. Look out, in the arms of Williams goes Candy Jones, and down they go. They're almost run over by the pack. Dolores Tucker moving by herself now on the jam. The Bombers are the only threat out. They trail by 6 here in the third period of play in the first half. Joni Weston, the Golden Girl, back there to block, and she can do it so well. Weston blocking, and Dolores Tucker 34. Joni again with the leg block. Over the rail. Tucker down hard on her shoulder on the floor. Atkins Sr. wants his pack to keep moving. He's afraid another bomber will come around. That bomber is Antonio. She gets the lead, cuts off the jam. Tucker, who just got back in the track, is decked by Candy Jones. Bill Morrissey caught her and called the penalty in Candy Jones because the jam had been cut off and was blocking after the play had ended. Tucker just got back on the track after a bad fall. She was decked again. No score in that jam. It remains the Pioneers 20 and the Bombers 14.
Dolores Tucker, as you mentioned, was hit again after she got back in the track. She seems to be all right. She's going to stay in on the game. The Bombers right now, with all of these recent injuries, Debbie Cho still skating with a broken nose. Carol Meyer back after a long leg injury. Margie Laszlo off right now. Could ill afford to lose Dolores Tucker.
I don't imagine Carol Meyer can shoot the works yet. She's going to need a couple of weeks. 20-14 is the score. Debbie Cho on the jam. The block in there. Grabs the lead. She put Linda Johnson down. Now Sherry Eric getting it to Debbie Cho and Kathy Williams. The Bombers have a double barrel threat going here. With 2:10 to go in the third period. Down in the Sherry Eric, there come the Jammers. Each one goes by, each one gets a point. Weston blocking now. On the rail, girl blocked out by Saunders, and that's 2 more points. Girl blocked out that time, Barbara Nunley. And a total of 4 at least here. Jam cut off by the Bombers. Debbie Cho clobbered by Sherry Eric. Saunders clobbers. Shoe gets out of there, and Saunders just protecting my teammate who was here on one knee, but she'll draw a penalty nevertheless. 20-18 is now the score. The Bombers scoring 4 big points on that play. Time enough for another jam in his period. We'll get these skaters apart and get the pack form. There it is. Eric decking another bomber, and Saunders wants a piece of her. Debbie Cho getting in there. Goshu is in there. They've got Sherry Eric over the rail, and they're pounding. Here comes Weston using her helmet. She's so big she doesn't need a helmet. She clobbers Saunders. Now a right hand. Here's Goshu decking Carol Meyer just for good measure. We got Bombers down all over the place. 4 Bombers on the deck.
I have to say one thing for Buddy Sr. there. He's saying, our team won, hurrah. But he pulled those girls right out of there. He said, get skating. We want to get more points. That's the object of the game, not fighting.
33 seconds to go in this period. And Weston needs a helmet. Weston still doesn't have a helmet. "13 seconds left here in the third period of play. One helmet is thrown out to the Weston. It goes clear up in the stands. It could be called for delay of game, actually, because that cost a lot of valuable time. Cost a possible scoring jam, not getting a helmet to Joni Weston. That's the end of the period. I say there was a chance for a period, a jam to be run there and a point to be scored, but it took 2 laps, almost 3, for him to get a helmet to Joni Weston. She had the helmet. They'd had that pack organized, and possibly there could have been a score before that third period ended. But it was a great and wild third period of play. Both teams scoring profusely. This looks to me like it's going to be a high-scoring game the way they're racking up the points. Right now it's 20-18. In a few moments we'll be getting into the fourth period of play with the men coming on the track. And when Jerry is talking about the power of this club, just run over that lineup for the Pioneers. Nick Skopas, Bill Hill. You have Larry Smith, great veteran star. Gary Lorenz, Bob Hine, John Rice, and Ronnie Robinson. That's the end of the third period of play with the score. The Bay Area Bombers 18 and the Pioneers 20. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco. The fourth period getting underway here between the Pioneers and the Bombers with the score, the Bombers 18 and the Pioneers 20. And there are 3 Bombers on the track. There are 4 Pioneers. These are penalties drawn from the girls at the end of the third period of play. They have to be used up here by the men. On the jam, Bob Hine, number 57, a slim, trim Bob Hine moving with Jim Cook, 38, moving behind him for the Bombers. At the rear of the pack, Pete Boyd and Ronnie Robinson, each trying to get a shot at each other and not connecting. Bob Hine on the signal to Ronnie Robinson. He says, I'm coming up, give me the block. And he does. And there's a point for Hine. Another block, 2 points. Bob Hine did it, Ronnie Robinson blocking. 2 Pioneer points, and they lead 22-18 over the Bombers. Now both clubs should go back to full strength. Dansell and Roman coming on the track for the Bombers.
Well, there's infield coach Buddy Atkinson Sr. just joining this Pioneer team, and boy, he's getting right in the middle of everything. But that shows you the advantage of coaching, Walt. I think one of the things we've remarked all too often is a team will skate short-handed, and the other team is not able to take advantage of it. Here the Pioneers have the Bombers in a short-handed situation, and they use it to pick up 2 points on that play.
And Atkinson got out of Robinson out of a possible fight. Here we go. Whipped out of there. Let's see. The man is Bill Hill. Chasing Bob Dansell. Roman out blocking on John Rice. Slams Rice into the rail. Then Roman stays in the pack. After putting Rice back in there, Roman could have jammed. He stayed in there to block. Dansell is out of the jam with Bill Hill. Another skater that's come a long ways. He stays up, moves to the inside, a block on Dansell. Dansell 34 of the Bombers. That time he puts Bill Hill down, number 51. Dansell moving on the pack. Bob Hine back to the block. Bob Hine has scored 2 points in the last jam, is now blocking for Bill Hill after he put Dansell into the rail. Pete Boyd blocking out Bill Hill. Puts him down with the knee block. And Dansell decks Bill Hill as he gets up again. Now Dansell moving, he's blocked out by Bob Hine, number 57. Dansell 34, Bill Hill 51 coming up on the pack again as time zone. Rice comes back and lays a right hand right into the midsection of Dansell and got away with it. That was going backwards and punching. Atkins Sr. there to protect his skater, and Orozco gives it to him. Right hand, Orozco Atkinson. Here we go. They're still going at it down there. Well, Rice came back for the Pioneers on the start of that play, and his block was a right hand at the midsection of Dansell, and he was not called for it. And then at the other end, it looked like a fight was going to start. Atkinson jumped in there to protect his skater who was down, hitting Boyd, and Orozco came up, hit Atkinson, and here's Roman now after Bob Hine. I don't know. We have a Bomber down.
I hate to think what kind of series this is going to be. These two teams have not stopped from the minute they've got on the track. The skating has been the best. The action has been the best. We're going to have interviews, of course, at the end of the first half, and you're going to see the second half right here on this station.
Here we go again. Charlie O'Connell is not in action right now. Why, I don't know. On the jam is Alvin Mallory moving. They're hitting in the pack. Roman and Robinson. Rice moving on Alvin Mallory on the jam. 1 point on the last play gives the Pioneers 23. The Bombers still with 18. Rice hammered in there. Or Mallory being hammered by Rice and Robinson. Slammed in the rail. Rice moving to score on the outside now. Roman with the block on him. Robinson moving on Roman. Moves him out of there. Rice scores one, cuts it off. Score now 24-18.
I noticed just a little while ago, Walt, Charlie O'Connell left the track with the trainer. He had an ice pack on his knee. I guess it was hit and it's swollen, and he's trying to get it down a little before he comes back on.
That's the reason he's not here right now. Roscoe out of the penalty box. He and Buddy Atkinson Sr. jawing each other. Tony Roman out on the jam with Gary Lorenz. Each team the man out on the play. Oh, Lorenz down hard. Hope he didn't get hurt. He went over that kickboard on his back. No way to break his fall, and he hasn't shown up yet. Back in the pack now. Tony Roman in scoring position. Neil Orozco the block for him. Watch Tony Roman, 37. Gil Orozco whipping him around. He goes underneath Robinson's block. He scores. He cuts it off, and he's decked behind. 1 point Bombers. They have 19 on the scoreboard now, and the Pioneers have 24. This game being skated at a tremendous tempo, Jerry.
Best game as far as skating I think I've seen this season, and these two teams together have a very short series, but undoubtedly this is going to be the way it's going to go the whole time.
You know, they get into fights, let's face it, because it's a rough, hard body contact sport, and tempers do flare. But when you watch these skaters in this league, they skate at some tremendous speeds on a jam. It's almost unbelievable.
You know, speaking of O'Connell, there's Buddy Atkinson Sr., the coach of the Pioneers, but O'Connell out right now, got a little ice on that knee. He's had a bad week, Walt. He was on his way to Yuba City. He had his car smashed, run off the road, had some facial cuts. Just came back in action last night.
Roman left on the rail by Robinson. At the rear of the pack, blocking Gil Orozco. Here comes Robinson on the pack. Roman signaling behind him. Jim Cook is the man on the jam. Jim Cook is a man. Tony Roman leading the charge. Watch the action. Roman moving in Ronnie Robinson. Goes to the outside. There goes Cook by him for the point. He's blocked out by John Rice, by Bob Hine, rather. Roman trying to pull him around. Pull him around Bob Hine. He does. That's another point, unless they say he's grabbing and holding. I don't know who is holding. Punches being thrown in there now. Ed Mallory gets up there, but I don't think officials paid any attention to him because he actually went by Robinson for another point and then cut off the jam. See how many points they call. 2 Bomber points was all. 1 in the pass, 1 in a penalty. Actually, I thought he passed 2, and Mallory got in there for 1, but I'm wrong again, and that's not the first time. 24-21 is the score. 4:25 to go here in the 4th period of play here in the first half. Out of that pack. Dansell to the inside. Got to get by Smith. Smith reaches back, whips out. John Rice, 59. Bob Dansell of the Bombers, 34 in pursuit now. John Rice blocking, and Bob Dansell really working him over. Takes him out of there. Got a cute leg block in there. It's almost a trip. Buddy Atkinson, you're on the track, yelling advice to John Rice. Lorenz and Smith slowing the pack down. Roman back there to block. Robinson's in the penalty box. He's ready to come on the track now. Rice hit by Roman. The only man that can score is John Rice, 59. He's hit by Jim Cook. He's hit by Roman again. Hine and Robinson trying to get back there. Smith trying to get back there. The Bombers are pushing him ahead. Will not let him come back there. Here's Jim Cook with the block on Rice. Roman with the block on Rice. And again a block in there, and again a block, and again a block in there. And Rice really battered in there. Finally goes down. He really took a bonding with Jim Cook and Tony Roman. No point scored. Bob Hine has got a few words he wants to say to Tony Roman and Jim Cook. Ronnie Robinson behind Roman and Hine in front of him. Referees get in there. 24-21, the score remains. The Pioneers in front. 2:25 to go in the first half. Remember, interview at the end of the half. Interview at the end of the second half.
A group of fans over here cheering for good skating, and that's really what they're seeing here.
tremendous speed in this game. Mallory's going to break out of there. He's going to whip out the big man, Pete Boyd. So Bob Hine takes off after Pete Boyd. Here we go. The two pivot skaters on the jam. Bob Hine, the ball eagle, nods to Buddy Atkinson. Yes, I know what to do. He does. He's been around for years. Pete Boyd stays up, takes the first 2 blocks, and keeps on moving in there. Another block by Boyd now on Bob Hine, and another one in there. And Pete Boyd wins that battle. Bob Hine wants another shot. He's going to have to go back in the pack and get it. And he is there. He's at the rear of the pack. Robinson says, go ahead, Bob. He's all yours. Hine blocking out Pete Boyd. Boyd's the only man in scoring position. Number 36, big 225-pounder of the Bombers. Boyd trying to pick up speed, but Hine slows him down. And Roscoe back there now where he can give him some help. Roman back there now. And here comes Bill Hill on the jam for the Pioneers, and Roscoe has to worry about him, and he does. He decks him. Now watch the action. Roman whipped into that double block, takes both men down, and Roscoe jumps over the top. 2 points for Boyd, and he cuts it off. That's backfiring. Roscoe in front of Roman, and Robinson with a few words for Tony Roman. The referees get there. Buddy Atkins Sr. to take Ronnie away. 54 seconds to go in the half. 2 points. Bombers 23, the Pioneers 24.
I'd have to say, Walt, if there's a man who's holding this Bomber team together right now on the track with his skating, it's Gil Roscoe. He is just steering everything from the center of that pack, engineering the defense. And Gil is indicated, Walt, this may be his last season. He's thinking of hanging him up at the end of the season. It'd be a great loss to that Bomber team.
Well, he's really come back strong this year. It would be a tremendous loss. Here we go. Whipped out of there, John Rice again. Hard-working jammer, Tony Roman in pursuit for the Bombers. 10 seconds to go in the half. This jam goes a full 60. Roman moving on Rice. Hits him with a block. Rice took a tremendous pounding on his last jam. He's down again. And Tony Roman for the Bombers moving by himself. The Bombers trail by 1. Pete Boyd working on Ronnie Robinson. Pete Boyd's got him going now. There they are. Pete Boyd's got blocking position on Robinson. There comes Tony Roman. Over the rail he goes. 1 point Roman. Here's the whip. Moving now on Smith and Rice. He's put down by Smith and Rice. Whipped by Pete Boyd. They've got about 25 seconds of jamming time left. He's decked by Bob Hine. Here comes Gary Lorenz in the jam, so Roman cuts it off to kill the Pioneer threat, settling for the 1 point that ties up the score. So the score here at the end of the first half of play. The Bombers and Pioneers in what was a tremendous 4 periods of action. All the way, tremendous speeds in this game. The score here at the end of the first half of play is the Bombers 24 and the Pioneers 24. You know, there's a question that I'm asked many times, and I'll be the first to admit it. I get a little sick of that question. They always come up and say, these girls that skate, man, they really must be tough cookies, huh? Ugly and tough. And I really get sick of that question. Now, you feel like punching somebody. Well, I have Sherry Eric with me now, and I think you're going to agree that there's nothing, well, she's a very attractive woman. She looks like she's out of place in any physical sport, I would say. How come you're in roller derby, Sherry?
Thank you. Oh, I love it. I went to a live game one time, and the contact sport and the women being able to compete with the men, you know, the same rules and everything, I just fell in love with it, really.
You're for equality then.
Right.
Well, how about your background, Sherry? Did you ever play professional football or professional ice hockey?
No, not really.
How long have you been skating now?
About 14 months now.
And when did you start training in the training school?
I started training in July of '71. I came right out of high school into the training center.
Who was the trainer that you had when you were in the training club?
Buddy Atkinson Sr., a great man.
How's it great to feel to be back skating with him again?
Oh, fantastic.
You know, I think Sherry is a living example of the type of skaters that Buddy Atkinson Sr. turns out on the bank track. That's why he's going to mean so much to this Pioneer club, because when you say you've been skating 14 months, yet you can get out here in a game, put on the pivot helmet, or go out on a jam and battle with these top skaters, that's actually making very rapid progress.
Yeah, I've come along pretty far, I guess, but I know I have a lot more to learn. But I can thank Joni Weston a lot for that. She's taught me a great deal.
I can remember when I first saw you on a track, Sherry, and say, this girl's too pretty to be in this rough a sport. And yet, I saw you, and I hadn't seen you for a long time, matter of fact. It's been quite a while since I've seen you. And, man, you're right out there and going with the best of them. Is it a feeling of confidence that you have now?
I think so. When I first started, I had the definite lack of confidence. I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. And now Joni and, well, all the Pioneers have helped me a lot.
When you're first starting, actually, the lack of confidence comes mighty easy.
Definitely.
How about this? Do you enjoy your jamming role with the Pioneers?
Yes, I do, very much. I would rather jam anytime than just block, because that's really where the action is, and then once you come around, you have the back of the pack, you have the blocker there to contend with.
Now, how about the roughness of this game? I mean, do you go home with any bruises afterwards?
Oh, yeah, the track burns especially. That's what hurts. But out of my skating the 14 months, I've only had one real injury, and that was I dislocated my kneecap.
Now, Sherry, if you had the same experience I have, of course, you'd get a little different respect. If you're out on a social occasion or with a group of people or on a party, and somebody says, this is Sherry Eric, she's a roller derby skater, it kind of shakes them up.
I think so. That, stay away from me. I don't want to be by you. That kind of attitude.
Are you single?
Yes, I am.
How does this help you on a date? If your guy finds out you're a skater, he's going to be a little standoffish, isn't he?
You stay on that side, and I'll stay on this side.
You throw a mean elbow?
I try.
I imagine you tell him, I don't really have a speed bag at home. I don't work out on a punching bag.
Right. I think I'm a woman off the track. I try to be.
Oh, very definitely. And do you have any hobbies, Sherry, or do you have time for hobbies?
Well, not too much, but the ones I do, I love to swim and I love to water ski. That's my favorite.
I guess a sense of balance comes natural in water skiing. Joni Weston is very good on the surfboards.
Right, surfboards. I've never surfed, but I sure would like to try.
Next time Joni goes out, you can go out with her.
Right.
Sherry, do you think this Pioneer Club is going to be a championship team?
I sure do. I think it's stronger this year than it ever has been. Our offense and defense both looks real good.
Good. Well, Sherry, thanks very much for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
Sherry Eric, ladies and gentlemen, one of the real attractive gals in this league. She's doing a fine job for the Pioneers. Score here at halftime, 24-24. A lot of stations will see this last half immediately. Some of the stations will see the last half next week, but you'll see this complete game. The Pioneers and the Bombers scored at halftime 24-24. This is Walt Harris speaking from Kezar Pavilion in San Francisco.